In the name of Allah, who is most merciful and most beneficent. I'm Dr. Ambreen. I'm the course in charge of the subject Physical Agents and Electrotherapy 2. Today, I'm going to continue the topic that was compression therapy, and previously we have discussed about the introduction about what is external compression therapy is, and we have discussed about all those types of the edema. So moving towards today's lecture, I'm going to continue to it, and I'm going to cover its last part. So let me tell you the learning objective of today's lecture. That includes the key points of the previous lecture. Firstly, I will go from the previous lecture so that we must do a recap, and we are all on one page, and we're going to continue so that we may be able to understand what we are going to do. And then we are going to discuss what are the today's topic, that would be the contraindication of external and of compression therapy, and then we will cover the last point, that is application technique. And after that, we have to cover the last chapter, that is related to traction therapy. So that we will start after that. So let me tell you about the key points of the previous lecture. So previously we have studied about edema, about hydrostatic pressure, about osmotic pressure, how they are interrelated to each other, and then what are the possible causes of venous insufficiencies, how the valves are going to cause the venous insufficiency and going to increase the hydrostatic pressure of the peripheries. And we have discussed about the lymphedema, that what are the possible causes of the lymphedema and how we can manage them. And lastly, we have discussed about hypertrophic scarring and residual limb amputation. So moving from that, I am going to continue with the contraindications of external compression therapy. So let me tell you the contraindication of sequential or intermittent compression therapy. So what they include is, we must not use compression therapy in case of heart failure or pulmonary edema. As in case of heart failure, patients usually have the bilateral lymphedema or peripheral edema. So we must not use compression therapy. The point why we must not use them, that is the point that I'm going to tell you soon. We must not use compression therapy in the recent or acute deep venous thrombosis, thrombophlebitis, or pulmonary embolism. We should not use compression therapy in obstructed or lymphatic or venous return. We should not use compression therapy in acute local skin infections. Similarly, we must not use compression in the severe peripheral arterial disease or ulcers due to the arterial insufficiency. And you should also not use the compression therapy in case of significant hyponatremia or protein levels less than 2 grams per deciliter. And the next, we should not use in acute fractures or other traumas. So now let me tell you why we should not use compression in all these points or in all these conditions. So firstly, here we have heart failure or pulmonary edema. I said compression should not be used in this condition. Now have to discuss why it must not be used. Though edema is of the dependent part of the body is due to the congestive heart failure, because the heart is not able to fulfill the demands of the body, so the heart is not sufficiently working. So as a result of which the blood is going to pool up in the peripheries, and the peripheral edema is due to the inefficiency of the heart, and the heart is not capable. So in such a condition, we should not apply compression to the peripheries. We should not move this fluid towards the heart, because if we do so, the heart will further deteriorate or decline. It will lead towards the heart failure. The shift of the fluid from the periphery to the central circulation is going to increase the stress over the failing organ. So congestive heart failure is actually the decrease in the ability of the efficiency of the cardiac muscles, and that decrease the cardiac output. In such situations, we should not apply compression therapy. And if we do so, we will aggravate the underlying condition. आप हम सारे lymph का जो fluid है उसको shift करेंगे central circulation की तरफ. Then we are going to aggravate, we are going to increase the workload over the heart. तो हम खुद ही intentionally इसका workload ज़्यादा कर देंगे. So this is not a good thing. Next, peripheral edema due to congestive heart failure is usually bilateral symmetrical. This is a point related to clinical practice. कि जब हमारे पास patient आते हैं, if they have a bilateral peripheral edema, और वो symmetrical है, this is the indication that is going to tell you that this is related to congestive heart failure. So this point is clinically very important. You must consider if this is so, then this is due to that. You have this diagnosis and differential diagnosis in your mind. Pulmonary edema occurs with prolonged or severe congestive heart failure. It is a result of elevated lung capillary pressure that is going to cause the fluid to leave the circulation and accumulate in the alveolar spaces in the lungs. Compression is contraindicated in this case again because it increases the fluid load over the vascular system and pressure in the lung capillaries that is potentially aggravating for this medical condition. So always ask your patient, do you have any heart problem or lung problem? Do you have any difficulty in breathing? Are you taking any medication for your heart or blood pressure? Do you have any swelling in your both legs? So these are the basic questions you must ask your patient if you are going to consider the compression therapy for the application. Assess your patient for all the bilateral edema and don't use compression to treat the edema until you have a certain that this edema is not related to the congestive heart failure or pulmonary edema. The next point is we should not use compression in the patient with a recent or acute deep venous thrombosis or thrombophlebitis or in case of pulmonary embolism. Because as we know, deep venous thrombus is a thrombus that is actually attached to the walls of the vessels. If you apply the compression, you are going to enhance the pumping action over it, and जिसकी वजह से वो थ्रोम्बस वहां से डिसलॉज हो सकता है. इट मे बिकम एम्बोलाई और एम्बोलाई मे ट्रेवल ऑल ओवर द सर्कुलेशन और वो कहीं पे भी जाके डिसलॉज कर सकते हैं, वो कहीं पे भी इंजरीज कॉज कर सकते हैं. सो यू मस्ट ऑलवेज थिंक कि अगर वहां पे असेस करें, चेक करें कि अगर डीवीटी वाली कोई इंडिकेशन नहीं, देन यू शुड अप्लाई. आप डीवीटी की प्रिवेंशन में इसको अप्लाई कर सकते हैं, लेकिन अगर पेशेंट को डीवीटी हो गया तो हम इसको नहीं अप्लाई करेंगे. And an ambulance in the pulmonary arteries produces about 30% mortality rate, while the ambulance that dodges in the arteries is supplying that brain may cause stroke. तो brain में चला जाएगा, stroke कर सकता है, death कर सकता है, heart में चला जाएगा, heart attack कर सकता है. So always try to avoid, if the DVT has occurred, तो हम compression या mobility वाली कोई चीज नहीं करेंगे. और स्पेशली उसमें इंटरमीडिएट कंप्रेशन तो बिल्कुल नहीं देंगे. अगर हम यूज कर भी रहे हैं तो हम उसमें स्टैटिक कंप्रेशन जैसे गाम में से बैंडेज हमने अप्लाई कर दे, लेकिन हमने कोई पंपिंग एक्शन वहां पे नहीं इंट्रोड्यूस करना. Compression can prevent the formation of DVTs, I earlier told you, but it should not be used if it is thought that thrombus वहां पे बन गया है तो हम इसको नहीं अप्लाई करेंगे. So ask your patient, do you have pain in your calves? How long have you been walking? क्या आपकी एक्टिविटी लेवल क्या है, उससे ये जज करें. और उसकी पेन चेन तो नहीं है और लाइक उसको काफ से ये चेक करें. And assess your patient for homocystine. Homocystine is a discomfort in the calf or on forced dorsiflexion of the foot. पे उसको पेन होगी, discomfort होगी. That is a sign of thrombosis in the leg. And request the further evaluation by the physician and delay the use of compression if you have any indication of such कि walking level कम है, activity level कम है, उसको पेन है, आपको कोई भी symptom मिल गई तो आप उसको जब तक शो नहीं हो जाता आप उसको नहीं करेंगे. The next is when lymphatic or venous return is obstructed. कि अगर उसको कोई lymphatic vessel में या venous vessel में जब obstruction है, कोई blockage है, तो जब तक आप उस ब्लॉकेज को नहीं करेंगे, आप जितना भी मर्जी आप कंप्रेशन लगा रहे हैं, आप वहां पे एडिमा को नहीं रिसॉल्व कर सकते. द वे इट हैज टू मूव, उस रास्ते में जो ब्लॉकेज है उसको जब तक हम खत्म नहीं करेंगे तब तक नहीं हो सकता. The next is in case lymphatic or venous return maybe किसी थ्रोम्बस की वजह से या कोई डैमेज है, कोई ट्यूमर है, मैथ है, first thing is you have to treat for that cause and then you have to move forward. So फर्दर जब हम ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन की बात करते हैं तो दो तरह के ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन है. एक हमारे पास कंप्लीट ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन है, उसमें तो हम बिल्कुल नहीं कर रहे. एक पार्शियल है. अगर आपकी कंप्रेशन लगाने से उसमें थोड़ी इंप्रूवमेंट आ रही है देन यू मे हैव एन ऑप्शन कि आप यूज कर सकते हैं. कोई कोलैटरल चैनल्स हैं या उसकी थोड़ी है रास्ता गुजरने का तो आप रूट को कर सकते हैं. सो इन केस ऑफ कंप्लीट ऑब्स्ट्रक्शन यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू अप्लाई कंप्रेशन. So you should ask from your patient, अपने patient से you should always ask, did you know you have swelling in your legs and arms? तो पूछें आपको लगता है कि आपकी टांगों में swelling है और क्या आपको लगता है कि कोई चीज इसको obstruct कर रही है. if there is a complete lymphatic या venous obstruction है, compression नहीं apply करें, and such obstruction should be treated surgically, उसको ठीक कराएं, surgically operate कराएं. And if partial compression, then you may use with careful monitoring, and always ensure that either your compression is doing something good or not. And the next is very interesting point is about if a patient has lymphedema, and that's due to the significant hypoproteinemia, उसका सीरम प्रोटीन लेवल है वो बहुत कम है, और इस केस में आपकी कंप्रेशन कोई नहीं कुछ कर सकती अनटिल अनलेस आप लिम्फेटिक वेसल्स की जो प्रोटीन कंटेंट है उसको बेहतर नहीं करेंगे, एंड दैट इज ड्यू टू द डाइट और उसकी जो बॉडी की बेसिक जो पॉइंट्स है उनको आप क्लियर करेंगे, आप उसकी ऑस्मोटिक प्रेशर को बेहतर करेंगे, तो ऑटोमेटिकली व्हेन यू वर्क ऑन द ऑस्मोटिक प्रेशर उसको बेहतर करने में करेंगे बाय एड्रेसिंग अबाउट द डाइट एंड एवरीथिंग ऑल अबाउट दैट, तो आप उस पेशेंट को हेल्प करेंगे, तो उसके बाद कंप्रेशन में तो कुछ फायदा होगा. ऐसे आप करेंगे यू आर गोइंग टू पुश इट और वो आगे से क्या हो रहा है कि वो रास्ते बंद, ऑस्मोटिक प्रेशर डाउन है, वो आगे जाएगी नहीं, गेट्स क्लोज रहेंगे उसके लिए उसके. And so this was all about that. What you should do is you have to deal with the food intake, and you should bother the nutrient what the patient is taking. So ask your patient, have you recently lost the weight? Have you changed your diet, or either the patient is on diet like nowadays keto or everything, that is very like common. So ask your patient either he's not following certain diet. Did you have any other like disease? The next is assess your patient. Check the left value section of the chart for the serum protein level. आप उसका serum lymphedema expect करें, आप उसका serum protein level check करें, and delay the use of compression until the patient's serum protein level is above the entry-gram deciliter. इससे बेहतर होता है तो फिर आप शुरू करें. And patient with acute local skin infection. Patient की skin पे infection आप compression garment लगाएंगे तो इससे और ज़्यादा irritate होगा, और further you are going to increase the tissue temperature, आप और microorganism environment दे रहे हैं कि वो वहाँ पे grow करें, और फर्दर आप अपनी जो स्लीव्स हैं जो अपरेटस है उसको भी डिसइंफेक्ट करें कि उसको भी खराब करें, क्रॉस कंटेमिनेशन के चांसेस भी बढ़ रहे हैं. सो क्रॉनिक स्किन इन्फेक्शन और ऑल दीज थिंग्स शुड बी बॉदर्ड कि इससे आपका जो अपरेटस है वो कंटेमिनेट तो नहीं हो रहा, पेशेंट को भी इससे नुकसान ना हो. So ask your patient, do you have any skin infection in the area to be treated? And if so, also assess your patient, inspect the skin for rashes, for redness, and skin beneath down, including the possible presence of the infection. And then what you need to do is you should not apply compression in a case that the patient is going to have acute like trauma or any fracture. अगर उसको acute injury हुई है, उसको fracture हो गया, intermittent compression is contraindicated immediately after acute trauma. फाइन, क्योंकि आर्म ट्रॉमा के बाद में पहले ही मूवमेंट वहां पे मूवमेंट की अलाउ नहीं, हम ऑलवेज फॉलो अ प्रोटोकॉल राइज अरेस्ट आइज कंप्रेशन एंड एलिवेशन, तो हम इस प्रोटोकॉल को फॉलो कर रहे हैं. सो व्हाइल वी आर मूविंग टुवर्ड्स दिस, तो हम पेशेंट को कभी किसी एक्यूट इंजरी में या फ्रैक्चर में हम नहीं चाहेंगे कि वहाँ पे हम मूवमेंट इंड्यूस करके उस वाली पोजीशन को और एग्रेवेट कर दें, हमारे एक्सेसिव मोशन के वहाँ ट्रॉमा हो जाए, ब्लीडिंग हो जाए. सो कंप्रेशन की हमारे पास टाइप्स हैं, स्टैटिक और इंटरमीडिएट. हम इसमें कंप्रेशन बैंडेजेस यूज कर सकते हैं, लेकिन हम इंटरमीडिएट कंप्रेशन, दीज आर ऑल बेसिकली द यूजेस ऑफ इंटरमीडिएट कंप्रेशन, मतलब उसकी कॉन्ट्राइंडिकेशंस की बात करें हम यहाँ पे. So such effects can cause further damage at the site of injury and further impairs the healing. Intermittent compression should not be used or should be used over the post traumatic edema पे use कर सकते हैं, लेकिन acute में नहीं करेंगे. Only after the initial acute inflammatory phase has inflammatory phase चली गई तब bleeding has stopped up, and then we may use them when the patient is medically stable. The next is about static garments. We may use them by wraps or stockings immediately after acute injury. जब उसमें राइस में प्रोटोकॉल है या RICE मतलब compression दे सकते, that is basically a static compression, that is not your intermittent compression, because intermittent compression वहाँ पे motion करेगा, हम वहाँ पे motion को नहीं करना चाहते. Fine. So static compression is frequently applied in conjunction with the rest, ice, and elevation, and in order to optimize the control of the pain, edema, and inflammation. So ask your patient, when did your injury happen? Did you know if you have broke a bone? कि नुकसान तो नहीं होगा, फ्रैक्चर तो नहीं, आप सस्पेक्ट तो नहीं करें. So in such a case, you should assess and ask your patient. In patient with severe peripheral disease or ulcers due to arterial insufficiency, दो तरह के अल्सर्स होते हैं. एक हमारे venous अल्सर्स होते हैं जो कि venous insufficiency, poor venous ब्लड फ्लो की वजह से वहाँ पे डीऑक्सीजनेटेड ब्लड और न्यूट्रिशन इम्यूनिटी की वजह से. एक हमारे अल्सर्स है कि उनकी आर्टीरियल सप्लाई वहाँ पुअर है. लाइक एक तो वहाँ पे venous circulation accumulate होती रही. So those who have arterial insufficiency, the compression should not be applied, क्योंकि जब हम compression करेंगे हम उस आर्टरी को और इम्पेयर कर देंगे. उसको जब compression अप्लाई करेंगे एक तो माइक्रो आर्टरी जो बड़ी मुश्किल से ब्लड लेके आ रही है आप उसको और कंस्ट्रक्ट कर देंगे. So in case of arterial insufficiency we never want to constrict that vessel or we never want to further impair that blood flow. और उससे हमारी कंस्ट्रक्शन से वो ज्यादा कंस्ट्रिक्ट हो जाए और उस एरिया को जो ब्लड सप्लाई मिल रही थी वो भी ना मिले. तो ड्यू टू दिस रीजन कॉम्प्रेशन ड्यू टू आर्टीरियल इंसफिशिएंसी वाले जो केसेस हैं उनमें हम नहीं यूज करते. And you should assess your like ulcer. If an ulcer is present, try to determine if it is due to arterial insufficiency. Ulcer due to arterial insufficiency usually are small, round, with borders and painful like both, and they are most often on interdigital spaces between the toes and around the lateral nerves. So this is the assignment for your next week. That is, I'm going to post in the Google Classroom as well. What is the difference between the effect of compression over the venous ulcer and over the arterial ulcers? I can also ask in the way why compression is contraindicated in arterial ulcers. You have to explain why it is so contraindicated in case of this ulcers. So here I'm going to take a break and I'm going to share you a video. And this video you may go and see what is the role of different compression like methods that I'm going to tell you has the role, how they are going to be applied. So just go through a video, then I'll tell you, and then we will discuss how they are going to benefit us.
State that compression therapy is the gold standard for treatment. The ABC approach was launched to encourage a wider adoption of compression therapy. Venous leg ulcers are a serious complication of chronic venous insufficiency. Disease or disrupted function of the vein valves allows blood to flow backwards, increasing the pressure inside the veins. This venous hypertension can cause edema and swelling of the leg, increasing fragility of the blood capillaries and the skin, leading to ulceration. Compression therapy provides a stiff and anatomically shaped cylinder against which muscles in the calf can contract. The increased pressure is distributed evenly throughout the leg, supporting the calf muscle pump. This decreases the capacity and pressure in the superficial vein, supporting valve closure, which aids venous return by increasing the blood flow velocity in the deep vein. This reduces edema by opposing leakage of fluid from the capillaries into tissues, encouraging lymphatic drainage, reducing exudate, and minimizing skin ulcerations. The effectiveness of compression is determined by the degree of.
So here are with the application techniques of compression therapy. That what are the possible ways that with which we can apply compression? हम कैसे apply कर सकते हैं? I earlier told you that there are 3 types of methods that we can use. कि हम compression bandages से कर सकते हैं, compression garments use कर सकते हैं या external compression pump use कर सकते हैं. So right now what I'm going to tell you in detail is कि compression garments कैसे use करते हैं, compression bandages कैसे use करते हैं, क्या फायदे हैं, क्या methods हैं, क्या techniques होगी, कैसे किस point से use करेंगे, क्या pressures के types हैं, and then what is external compression pump with advantages and disadvantages. With this we will end up this lecture and this chapter as well. So coming towards the compression can be applied in a variety of the ways depending upon the patient clinical presentation. So इन तीनों methods में से हम कौन सा method select करेंगे depend कर रहा है कि patient की clinical representation क्या, उसको किस चीज़ की ज़रूरत है. Fine, उसको static compression चाहिए, उसको like external compression चाहिए, like intermittent चाहिए. Further compression के different types हैं कि उसको किस वाली extensibility, elasticity वाला compression चाहिए. And the goal of treatment, आप उसमें क्या improve करना चाहते हैं? What is your intention of improving? क्या आप improve करना चाहते हैं? So with this we will discuss कि हम static के लिए क्या कर सकते हैं. Static के लिए हमारे पास bandages है, garments है, even the continuous mode of like एक्सटर्नल कंप्रेशन पम्प है वो भी हम यूज़ कर सकते हैं, न्यूमेटिक पम्प। इंटरमीडिएट के लिए हमेशा हम इंटरमीडिएट न्यूमेटिक एक्सटर्नल मशीन से ही कर सकते हैं, रेस्ट इंटरवल और ये सीक्वेंशियल देके या सिंपल देके। So coming towards the compression bandages, these are just pictures to show you that you are going to apply the compression bandage over it. So it is always applied over figure of it. There are different ways of applying it by circumferential way, spiral way, but this one is figure of 8 is the best way that you're going to wrap it, and this is by which method you can going to have a good results. So one thing, another very important, whenever you're going to apply the compression bandage, you should always start distally. हमेशा हम उसको distally शुरू करेंगे, उसका जो start होगा और उसको हम proximal लेके जाएंगे. So for this I have paused the video कि हम उसको कैसे apply करेंगे. I am going to show you soon. And this is a picture just to show you that you have to maintain the position of figure of 8 में हम move करेंगे. The next is I just want to compare the circumferential or circular with the spiral wrapping. Circular or circumferential or spiral wrapping is generally not recommended. The figure of 8 wrapping is comparatively recommended because it is more effective. Why they are not recommended? Like you can see in this picture कि वो ऐसे ऐसे करके wrap करे जा रहे. The reason is this because they can result in uneven application of pressure and uneven control of the edema. So because of this uneven application, uneven control of edema, हम इसको prevent करते हैं कि हम circular या spiral ना use करें, हम figure of 8 को maintain करें. This is a picture to show you the difference, like in case कि अगर वो slip हो जाएगी, जैसे अभी मैं कह रही थी कि circular वाली slippage की chances भी है, तो in this way it is going to cause unequal pressure over the points कि ये वाला area रह गया इस पे है, so it is going to cause certain areas जिन पे वो compression दे रहा है किसी पे नहीं दे रहा. And then the next point is what should be the tightness of bandage. मतलब जो हम bandage wrap करें उसको कितना हमने tie करना है, मतलब क्या pressure होना चाहिए. The bandage should be tightly applied tightly enough. उसको हम अच्छे से tight करें, but this tightness varies from person to person. उसके लिए obviously हर manually करें हम इसको ये quantifiable नहीं है, आप इसको नहीं कर सकते हैं इसमें इतना लगाया. तो obviously every intention is you're going to apply tight enough, but your tight enough should be moderate, comfortable compression without impairing the circulation. इतना भी tight नहीं करेंगे कि आप इसकी circulation को ही impair करें. The next thing I want to tell you that I was previously saying कि वो जो bandage है वो slip हो जाती है, and in video you can also see कि हम क्या करते हैं, नीचे को have से कुछ इस तरह की gauze और foam bandages use करते हैं. इस bandage के नीचे भी एक layer use करते हैं. Like this you can see this picture. इनका purpose ये होता है कि आपके compression bandage को fix कर लें और उसको slip ना आने दें और directly against the patient's skin they will touch now. So in order to avoid the slippage of the compression bandage on the skin, we may prefer to use cohesive gauze or foam bandages हम use कर सकते हैं. This is a picture to show you कि अगर हम बहुत tightly use करेंगे और अगर circulation को impair करेंगे और अगर equally distribute नहीं करेंगे उसके pressure को, so it will go like in this way कि वो इस तरह की position या इस तरह की हमारे पास patient की picture आएगी. Then coming towards the elasticity and extensibility of the bandages, there are different types of elastic bandages. मतलब उनकी elasticity, extensibility पे depend कर रहा है कितनी elasticity है, कितना extend कर सकती है और हमें कितनी ज़रूरत है उस पे depend कर रहा है. So compression bandages with a different amounts of elasticity and extensibility are available in the market. They are going to provide you varying amounts of resting and working pressure. दो तरह के हमें pressures देती हैं. Now the next thing is what is this resting and working pressure? That we tell you the resting and working pressure. Firstly, the resting pressure. This is that pressure. ये वो pressure है जो एक elastic bandage is going to put over on stretch. आप एक band को stretch करके उसको जब apply कर देते हैं तो वो bandage जो एक skin और tissues पे pressure exert करी, that is your resting pressure, and this pressure is maintained even the rest. आपने एक दफा उसको tie कर दिया और उसने जो stretch करके उस पे hold किया अगर उसको जो pressure apply किया हुआ ना, that is the resting pressure. So an elastic bandage, जब हम bandages की different types हम बात करेंगे, exerts this pressure whether or not the patient is moving. Patient rest है, patient move कर रहा है. This is the pressure every time the patient is going to experience. That is your resting pressure. And the next one is working pressure. ये वो pressure होगा जब एक patient movement करेगा, like जब ये muscle move करेगा और वो जब muscle expand करते हैं मसल इज गोइंग टू एक्सपैंड. ये जो एक्सपैंड होने से जो कंप्रेशन बैंडेज पे प्रेशर आएगा, दिस वन इज वर्किंग प्रेशर. और दिस विल बी ओनली जब वो मूवमेंट होगी, मसल कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करेगा या रिलैक्स करेगा. सो द प्रेशर प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय द मसल when they are active, when they push against an elastic bandage, वो जो bandage के against ये muscle pull करेगा, that is your working pressure. Right? The next is different types of compression bandages. We have long stretch bandage, we have short stretch bandage, we have multi-layered bandage, we have semi-rigid bandage. I'm going to tell you what are the different types or what is the significance of every bandage. Let's come to the long stretch bandage, जिसको हम highly extensible bandage भी कहते हैं. Mean ये it has extensibility 100% to 200% की इसके पास extensibility पार होती है. And it provides the greatest resting pressure because they exert the greatest restoring force. जब इसका resting pressure सबसे ज़बरदस्त है क्योंकि इसके पास extensibility ज़्यादा है, so it has the greatest restoring force. So it is going to give you good resting pressure. Kindly, there are two important things: resting pressure और दूसरा हमारा है working pressure. इन पे please focus रखिएगा what they are. If you understood what is resting pressure and what is like the working pressure, तो आप इन सारी bandages को अच्छे से compare कर सकते हैं. The next is when these stretchable bandages are stretch. अब इनको stretch करते हैं, it applies about 60 to 70 millimeters of mercury का pressure apply करते हैं. And this is very good to control the edema, and they should be applied with a moderate tension to avoid the excessive resting pressure को हम करने के लिए use करते हैं. The next is highly extensible elastic bandage, जिसके हम बात कर रहे थे. Long stretch, they don't promote the development of working pressure. ये ना extensible होते हैं, मतलब इनके पास extensibility है. जब मसल इस वाली बैंडेज पे वर्किंग प्रेशर एग्जर्ट करने की कोशिश करेंगे, जब मसल एक्सपैंड होगा, ये भी स्ट्रेच होकर आगे हो जाएगी. अगर लाइक द पॉइंट इज ये रेस्टिंग प्रेशर तो दे रही है, लेकिन इट हैज एक्सटेंसिबिलिटी, इसके अंदर पार है एक्सटेंड करने की, लेकिन ये मसल है भी ऐसे कहीं कॉन्ट्रैक्ट करेगा, ये इसको और पुश अवे कर देगा. सो इसका मतलब है जब मसल इस वाली बैंडेज के साथ वर्क करेंगे तो वो वर्किंग प्रेशर मेंटेन नहीं करेंगे. इस बैंडेज का कोई वर्किंग प्रेशर ऑफर नहीं करी, क्योंकि ये बैंडेज एक्सटेंड हो जाती है. जब मैसे मसल ऐसे एक्सपेंड करता है, ये उसको बड़े कर देता है, अब मतलब ईजी हो जाता है, उसका प्रेशर लूज हो जाता है. So this type of bandage is not going to give you working pressure. Please, this is the important thing, that highly extensible bandage is not offering working pressure. They stretch rather than providing the resistance when muscles are going to expand. And examples are new A strap and Debbie grip is the example of this highly extensible bandage. The next is low stretch bandage. Before like starting the low stretch bandage, I want to show you a video firstly about the figure of 8. How can we apply in the figure of 8? Then I have to show you the video of bandages. So firstly, we should go there so that we may continue, and then we start the next video.
With foot flexed at 90 degrees, start the bandage at the center of the ball of the foot with the lower edge of the bandage at the base of the toes. Wrap either lateral or medial using 2 turns around the foot to anchor the bandage. Continue to wrap the foot and then proceed up and around the ankle, covering the Achilles tendon. Turn over the ankle and down to secure the heel. Continue up the leg for 1/2 turn above the ankle. Come down over the tibia to form the first figure 8. You'll notice as you do this up the leg, you'll see a crisscross pattern. Bandage up the leg in an alternating up and down pattern by overlapping bandage by 50% with 50% stretch. Continue on until you reach about a 1 inch below the knee. Cut away excess bandage, secure with tape. Remember to always consult the product information sheet that came with your bandages to ensure correct application, as technique and instructions vary from product to product.
So this was a video in which we can see how it was going to be applied in figure of 8. And after that we said there are different types of the bandages, and we have discussed about the long stretch, high extensible bandage की हमने बात की. Now we're moving towards the low stretch bandage. ये ज़्यादा नहीं होती, उसकी extensibility 100 to 200 times. And this have the extensibility of 30 to 90%. It provides some degree of resting pressure and वर्किंग प्रेशर, ये ज़्यादा एक्सटेंसिबल भी नहीं है, ज़्यादा इनइलास्टिक भी नहीं है, इससे मॉडरेट है। सो ये दोनों टाइप के प्रेशर से, रेस्टिंग भी और वर्किंग, ठीक है। सो कैन देयरफॉर बी समवट इफेक्टिव इन पेशेंट बोथ एक्टिव और रेस्ट, जो एक्टिव भी हैं उनके लिए भी अच्छे हैं और जो रेस्ट में हैं उनके लिए भी अच्छे हैं, फाइन। The next is inelastic bandage. It's not extensible as the name is indicating, inelastic, not extensible, not elastic. It provides a low resting pressure and provides adequate resistance and allows for the development of high working pressure during the muscle activity. ये वाली बैंडेज इन इलास्टिक है, मैंने उससे इलास्टिसिटी नहीं है, जो जब हमने एक पेशेंट को ये अप्लाई की है और जब वो मसल एक्सपेंड करेगा ना, तो ये के अगेंस्ट जब स्ट्राइक करेगा ये इसी एक्सपेंशन का बार, उस वक्त ये बैंडेज एक्सटेंड नहीं करेगी, इलास्टिक है, तो उससे क्या होगा कि जो मसल है इट विल एग्जर्ट अ वर्किंग प्रेशर ड्यूरिंग विच, क्योंकि ये इनइलास्टिक है और जब ये मूवमेंट करेगा सो ये वर्किंग प्रेशर भी एग्जर्ट करेगा क्योंकि ये इससे एक्सटेंड नहीं होगी। So inelastic bandages offer a very good working pressure, while the highly elastic bandages offer good resting pressure, और जो low stretch है वो दोनों मिक्स करती है। सो इसका मतलब है इन इलास्टिक बैंडेजेस उन लोगों में अच्छी हैं जो एक्टिव हैं, जिनका एक्टिव लाइफस्टाइल है, जैसे एथलीट वगैरह वो कुछ हो गया उस तरह कि जब वो वर्क भी करेंगे तब भी ये बैंडेज उनमें ज़्यादा अच्छा काम करेगी और उनका लाइफस्टाइल भी एक्टिव है और उनमें ये ज़्यादा अच्छी अकोमोडेट करेंगे। इंस्टेड के लिए एक फ्लैसिड मसल है उसमें अप्लाई करेंगे, उसमें इन इलास्टिक बैंडेज इतनी अच्छी नहीं है जिसमें फ्लैसिडिटी वगैरह है। So it is optimal for the use during the exercise when activity of the muscle results in highly working pressure, as not going to control the edema effectively or going to improve in a flaccid or inactive limb to control the edema. The next is comprelin, is the type of inelastic bandages जो बहुत commonly used होती है for this purpose. Then we have another category of the bandages that is multi-layer bandage, मतलब इसमें different तरह की bandages को हम combine करके use करते हैं. The purpose is you are going to apply the pressure according to the needs, or internationally it is a very important way of managing the edema. What we need to do is इसमें क्या करते हैं, you are going to use a combination of inelastic bandages and elastic bandages, हम mix करके use कर रहे हैं to apply the moderate to high resting pressure. Though we may use 2 or 3 or 4 types of different bandages हम use कर सकते हैं इसके अंदर. So for example, one type of multi-layered bandages provide you approximately 40 millimeters of mercury resting pressure at ankle level. और हमेशा हमने जब भी प्रेशर अप्लाई करना है और अभी गारमेंट्स की बात करनी है, सबकी एक टेक्निक होगी कि आपका जो प्रेशर है वो डिस्टल वाली साइड पे ज़्यादा हो, लाइक ज़्यादा हो और उधर की तरफ लो, क्योंकि हमने कहा ऑलवेज द फ्लूइड मूव्स फ्रॉम हाई टू लो प्रेशर। सो आप नीचे वाले डिस्टली आप उसको ज़्यादा रखेंगे, प्रेशर को ऊपर काम करते जाएंगे ताकि फ्लूइड को आप खुद ही मजबूर करें नीचे हाई प्रेशर करके ऊपर काम करके यहाँ से आपने उस तरफ को मूव करना है। The layer on the bandages provide protection, absorption as well as compression, सब कुछ provide कर रही होती है, and it's very good for venous leg ulcers. हमने एक वीडियो देखी कि how it is going to be effective in venous leg ulcers, and pain is a high compression for up to 1 week after the application. This is a picture to show you application technique. I have a video also to show you application technique. Let me share the video, please.
To apply an Una boot. She starts at the foot. And what is an Una boot for, Cindy? An Una boot actually is going to help the patient be able to establish the better blood flow from the lower extremity back up out of the area where it needs to be. Now, the key about an Una boot is that you want to make sure that that person that you're applying the Una boot to is able to move. An Una boot is what's called a short stretch. And in order for a short stretch to work, you have to work. It has a very low resting compression. So you're going to get all of your compression and you're going to get the bulk of the work done when you're working with it. Another very important thing to remember when doing an Una boot is that you want to make sure that you get all the wrinkles out, because if you leave wrinkles in there, one of the specific features about the Una boot is its rigidity. And so you don't want that getting hard and hardening on there and having those wrinkles, because then you can cause problems. When you say move, what does that mean? Does that mean that a patient can wear an Una boot if they just move from the bed to the chair? No.
They have to actually be mobile. In other words, they're going to have to ambulate, because when they ambulate, as they're ambulating, the contraction, the rigidity of the boot forces the contraction of the muscle inward, which pushes against the veins, actually forcing the one-way bicuspid valves open, and thereby moving the blood up and out of the area. Okay, well, great. So it's very important, again, that you make sure that you have no wrinkles. And I don't see any wrinkles from my direction. Do you, audience? No. Now you're going to continue up the extremity, making sure that you have no wrinkles. You don't want to apply with any kind of tension. How does this feel to the patient?
It feels soft, a little cool because of the ointment, and cool, it's soothing.
Oh, that's great. It fits like a glove. How far do you go up? You always want to wrap to about 1 inch below the knee. 1 inch below the knee. Okay. Any excess that you have, you can go ahead and cut off. And you can secure that, because it will actually stick to itself. This one is a zinc oxide base. Oh, okay, wow. So we're wrinkle free. That is great. Okay, with this particular kind of boot, we're going to be putting on a coping, but we're only going to be putting that on to cover the area that we've already applied, where we've applied the this, and then we're going to bring the coping, and we're going to bring it about 50%. Okay, there's 100%, then I come back halfway, and then I'm going to continue. Can you do that again? I don't think the camera saw it. Well, show us the stretch again. When you do the stretch, you want to come out. You're only going to do this to 50%. So when you do a co-band, you bring it out 100 just to kind of get an idea of where you're at, and then bring it back halfway, which is going to give you that 50%. Oh, okay. Is that a tighter fit to you when this is going on?
Yes, it's a little tighter.
Okay. Now remember also, you want to just come 50% over. So you're going to have 50% tension, and you're going to be going half, or covering half of the previous rep. No, this is great. And how far do we go with this? Again, you're only going to go to 1 inch below the knee. Now here's the key. We are going to have excess left over, like we typically do with some of these. You don't want to keep wrapping that around, because it's like applying a tourniquet. So you're going to cut off the unused portion, and you're going to secure it with tape.
So this was a video related how the compression bandage can be applied, what should be the positioning, and what should be the angle. And now we're moving towards another type of bandage, that is Anna's boot. And that was the same as we have seen in the video. It is a semi-rigid bandage formed of zinc oxide impregnated gauze that can exert walking pressure as well. When this type of bandage is applied to lower extremity, it is said to be an boot, and typically used for the venous stasis ulcers. It is preferably good for those, and because it provides a sustained compression force. The next is application techniques of compression, and which you're going to apply like you have seen in the first video. And what we have done कि उन्होंने सबसे पहले gauze या foam को use करते हैं, और हमने pictures भी देखी. Purpose of using gauze और foam या cotton जो हम bandage के अंदर use करते हैं, इसका purpose होता है कि हमारा जो slippage of नहीं compression bandage ना हो. Bandage appropriate elasticity की होनी चाहिए. Cotton और foam को हमने use करना है as a padding. इन सबको हमने साथ. This is the apparatus that we actually need, equipment. And the procedure is obviously जिस area पे apply करें, we should remove the clothing and the jewelry of that area, inspect the skin in that area, apply foam or cotton padding around the anatomical indentations, and dress or cover any wound if there is present in the area that you're going to treat. Then apply a gauze or foam or cotton under the bandages to protect the skin from compression. हम चाहते हैं कि compression directly skin को like disturb ना करे, in order to minimize the slipping of the compression bandages. Then point another is always start distally and progress proximally. And after removing or after inspecting the skin, after applying the foam, you are going to dress up over the wound, and then you are going to move towards the compression that you are going to apply. So in case of lower extremity, it is very important when you are going to apply the compression. Firstly, fix it around the ankle to fix the bandage in the place, and then foot and the leg and the thigh. Your angle should be starting from the ankle, then you may lead upward. And wrapping around the foot should be medial to lateral in case when the dorsum of the foot is in the direction of the pronation, you start from the medial and then move towards the lateral direction. And if you are going to apply over the upper extremity, you are going to fix it fast, and you can fix it by applying to the wrist or applying to this area web of the thumb. Like you can see in this picture. Firstly, start the fixation of the bandage, then move forward. And the next thing is for all the areas, what should be in our mind that जब हम अप्लाई कर रहे हैं डिस्टल टू प्रॉक्सिमल मूव कर रहे हैं अर्लियर टू जो हमारा प्रेशर डिस्टली ज़्यादा होना चाहिए एज कम्पेयर टू प्रॉक्सिमल बिकॉज वी वांट टू कि फ्लूइड हमारा डिस्टल से प्रॉक्सिमल डायरेक्शन की तरफ मूव करे और फ्लूइड हमेशा हाई प्रेशर से लो प्रेशर की तरफ मूव करते हैं एंड बैंडेज शुड प्रेफरेबली वी यूज इन फिगर ऑफ 8 मैनर. So here are the advantages, and then we have disadvantages. The advantage of compression bandages, it is not very expensive and it is quick to apply once the skill is mastered. It is readily available. Extremity can be used during the treatment भी हम use कर सकते हैं. This is safe for acute conditions के लिए बहुत safe है. The next is disadvantages. हम इसको अकेले के यूज करके एक हुए एडिमा को रिवर्स नहीं कर सकते, लेकिन हम इससे प्रिवेंट कर सकते हैं कि एक दफा एडिमा हो चुका है हम उससे इससे वापस प्रिवेंट नहीं कर सकते, हम मजीद से प्रिवेंट कर सकते हैं लेकिन it can't return the edema that has occurred, it can't reverse the edema. It effectively only for controlling the edema formation. It requires the moderate skill, flexibility and level of the coordination to apply. Compression not readily quantifiable. हम हर person obviously person to person मतलब सबकी manual कह रहे हैं कि expertise vary कर रही है, तो जो compression है आप hard and fast नहीं कह रहे कि everybody is applying very equal. Everybody is trying to apply moderately tight, but हर person का moderately tight quantifiable नहीं है. And it looks bulky and unattractive sometimes. So cosmetic point of view से अच्छा नहीं लगता है. Inelastic bandages are ineffective in controlling the edema in flaccid limb effectively. So next category we have is compression garments. Like you can see in this picture, this is the limb जिसको venous insufficiency की वजह से venous blood को यहाँ pool होना शुरू हो गया, जिसकी वजह से hydrostatic pressure बढ़ गया, जिसकी वजह से यहाँ पे like edema होना शुरू हो गया. This is the same जिसको आपने garment बनाया, आपने उसको जरा प्रेशर एग्जर्ट किया, हाइड्रोस्टैटिक प्रेशर जिसकी वजह से फ्लूइड ऊपर की तरफ लाइक ठीक है उसको इंप्रूव कर दिया. So compression garments are available and with various degrees of compression. They are available in various sizes, in various like custom face sizes and different shapes में हमारे पास available हैं. And basically they are made up of washable lirica. ये जिस material के बने होते हैं ये washable होता है, and it also provides moderate elasticity and to provide a combination of moderate resting or working pressure ये हमें देते हैं. So the next thing is if the garment is inelastic या उसका बहुत less stretchable capability है, so वो हमें working pressure देती है. क्यों? Point is वो working pressure इसलिए देती है, हमने कहा वो inelastic है, जब muscle वो pump लेकर expand करता है तो inelastic against walls के against जब वो push करता है, the does not show extensibility or like इस तरह हमें ये working pressure दे रहा है. Fine. And the next thing is it is very difficult to wear these garments because इनमें elasticity नहीं होती, इनको चढ़ाना इनको पहनना बड़ा मुश्किल हो जाता है. And we also have anti-embolism stockings. They are basically ready to wear and they are off-shelf stockings. They are going to provide the compression force of 60 millimeters of mercury to 18 millimeters of mercury. और इस pressure के समय मार्केट में अवेलेबल है. इनका काम है इनकी मतलब ये जैसे हमारे सॉक्स होते हैं, इनके अंदर ऐसी टेंडेंसी होती है कि नीचे ज़्यादा प्रेशर होता है, ऊपर से रिलैक्स होता है, फिर रिलैक्स होती है. गोइंग टू कीप द फ्लो अप विदाउट लाइक प्रिवेंटिंग थ्रोम्बस अगर बन गया इन केस तो आप ये अप्लाई करें ताकि वो मेंटेन भी करे और मजीद होने भी ना दे और एम्बोलाई भी ना बनने दे. and this they are very good for DVT patients in bedridden जो bedridden है. They are not intended to apply provide a sufficient compression. They prevent DVT or they alter the circulation when the lower extremities are in dependent position. And the next thing, the size should be perfect. जिसको जिसके लिए है उसको comfortably पूरे आने चाहिए. And इसको हम we can wear it for 24 hours a day, except if you're going to take a bath, you should wear it off. There are two different types, knee high and thigh high, like stockings are available. Knee high are more comfortable as compared to thigh high stockings. The next picture, what I want to say is custom fit and off-the-shelf compression garments are going to provide you sufficient compression to control the edema. They are also going to counteract the effect of gravity on the circulation in active patients, and they also modify the scar formation after the burn. This is the significance of these garments, that they can do manage the edema, they can counteract the gravity, and they can prevent the scar formation. And this type of pressure garments are going to control the scar tissue formation, and this type of pressure is going to control the edema in the ambulatory patients. So but the point is, this compression garment has a flaw or drawback that it is very difficult for some patient to put on and take off, especially who has a poor vision, या जिनकी जो manual dexterity वो अच्छी नहीं है, या जिनके अंदर coordination imbalance issue है. So इन patient को compression garment use करना, या जिनके knee stiff है और उनको झुक के नीचे पहनना जरा उनके लिए difficult है, back का issue है. So this is one of the reason it tends to be difficult to wear off. And इस तरह की कुछ assistive devices भी होती है जैसे stocking butler that is going to help, वहीं से हमें help कर रहा है तो stocking को wear करने में. The next is advantages of this compression garment. Thing is, this compression garment are quantifiable. मतलब इसको हम measurable हैं कि ये stocking की elasticity कितनी है. Instead उसमें जब हम apply करेंगे तो हमारी ही लाइक कह लें कि वेरी कर रहा था कि हम कितनी टाइटली इसको अप्लाई करें, कितना यूज कर रहे हैं. बट दिस इज लाइक क्वांटिफाइबल, नॉट लाइक बैंडेजेस. effectively can be used during the treatment, like unlike the pump के साथ हम कुछ और नहीं कर सकते. ये पहन के आप कुछ और भी कर सकते हैं और extremity can be used कर सकते हैं. It's not very expensive, while the intermittent compression machine is expensive. Bandages are also not expensive. They both are not expensive. And ये हमें different shape, different colors और different styles में हमें मिल जाती है, thin, attractive, available in various colors. Then next are also the advantages. They are good for acute condition. हम इसको 24 घंटे भी पहन सकते हैं, कोई ऐसा मसला नहीं, सिर्फ ये कि warm वाला issue है. And they be preferred by the patient to compression garment. Bandages bandage के मुकाबले में अच्छे हैं कि comparison करें कि वो उसको wrap करना थोड़ा सा side से trick चाहिए. इसमें तो कोई trick नहीं, सिर्फ आपने ऊपर पहनना है उसको. Next is disadvantages. Obviously, when something has advantage, तो उसके नुकसान भी हैं. They are कि हम इसको अकेले को use करके इससे भी reverse नहीं कर सकते. It is a slightly expensive and than the bandage. It need to be first the size of the free size, small size, and medium size. The size should be appropriate according to the patient's physique, and it requires strength, flexibility, and dexterity to put on. इसको पहनने में थोड़ी सी मुश्किल हो सकती है. It हर सबको नहीं होती, किसी किसी को हो सकती है. एंड गर्मियों के मौसम में इसको पहनना बहुत मुश्किल है. एंड अगर किसी ने बहुत ज़्यादा अरसे यूज़ करने हैं, दे नीड टू बी रिप्लेस. कुछ 6 मंथ के बाद नए खरीदने पड़ेंगे, जो पुराने और गंदे उनकी एक्सटेंसिबिलिटी खराब हो जाती है. और हर पर्सन के पास एटलीस्ट 2 पेयर्स जरूर होने चाहिए. अगर एक यूज़ कर रहा है तो दूसरा वॉश के लिए, लॉन्ड्री के लिए गया हो. सो दिस इज अ थिंग दैट मस्ट बी मॉनिटर्ड एज वेल. The last thing we have is intermittent pneumatic compression, that is multi-chamber sleeve here in this picture. That is a sequential compression. This is also a picture of intermittent compression machine, and you can see. And the one thing you can also add here is you should place a pillow. आप पाँव के नीचे pillow रख के इसको साथ इससे store भी कर सकते हैं by maintaining the position. So this is another picture of intermittent pneumatic compression. These are different sizes of the sleeves, so like for lower limb and upper limb के लिए हम use करते हैं. And what you need to do is, when you have finally assessed your patient or check all the contraindications, and then you are going to move towards this, be certain to check for the sign of DVT, calf pain, tenderness, सारा कुछ check करने के बाद if you are going to do this, and you should prepare your patient आपकी jewelry clothing और positioning वगैरह कर लें, लिंक को elevate कर लें and reduce the pain and edema caused by venous insufficiency उसकी वजह से। और सबसे पहले हम इसके लिए भी बेहतर है कि आप इसको पहले स्टॉकिंग या लाइक स्लीव कोई उसको हम यूज़ करते हैं इसको रैप करने से पहले, ताकि क्रॉस कंटेमिनेशन की चांसेस भी ना हो, आप वो रिप्लेस कर सकते हैं एंड दैट आल्सो सूद द पेशेंट्स आल्सो। The next thing is single chamber is going to single chamber sleeve provide intermittent compression only, while a multi-chamber obviously gives you sequential fact always start distal and move proximal, and this gives you milking effect on the extremity. And when you're going to apply, you're going to attach the hoses of the pneumatic compression, and you have to select the appropriate parameters like what is your inflammation and deflation times, deflation pressure, inflation pressure kya hoga, hamara total time duration kya hoga. These are all the parameters you also look for. The next are advantages of this external compression pneumatic pump. This is actively moves the fluid and they may be more effective than all the other devices. As its compression is quantifiable, आप इसकी machine में pressure देते हैं कितना use करते हैं, can provide sequential compression as well. It requires less figure and hand dexterity to apply the compression. इसमें over issues भी नहीं है, हम edema को control बहुत effectively कर सकते हैं और can be supervised in patient who know जो bandages और garment नहीं पहने थे उन patient भी आप supervise कर सकते हैं इसके साथ। No doubt it also has advantages like it is used only for limited time. हर वक्त नहीं इसको use कर सकते कि 10-15 मिनट 20 minutes scar modification के लिए भी नहीं effective. It requires static compression devices to be used between the treatment. मतलब एक सुबह में ये apply किए शाम में के बाकी time में आपको दूसरी devices भी use करनी पड़ती हैं. It's expensive. This is a pretty much important that this machine is very expensive. And the last thing is it requires moderate comfort during the machinery to apply. It requires electricity as well. Extremity can't be used, obviously use nahi kar sakte and move nahi kar sakte. Pump to motion or device may aggravate the acute condition. So this was all about the compression, the advantages and disadvantages. And with this I'm going to continue, wind up this session, and we are going to move towards the next class, and this in which we will discuss about all these indication application techniques, and then we will start the last chapter of our syllabus that includes the structure therapy. Thank you so much for being with me, for hearing this lecture, and kindly write down your queries and then do ask me when we have interactive session. With this, I'm going to end. Allah Hafiz.